Welcome to Gatecrashers. On today's episode, we have interviews with some of the creators, producers, and voices from Disney's Solar Opposites. Had a great conversation with Mike McMahon, co-creator and executive producer, and Josh Bicel, the executive producer as well. Also got a chance to speak with Sean Giambrone from shows like The Goldbergs and Solar Opposites. He voices Yumyulack. We also got a chance to talk with Mary Mack, who is the voice of Jessie, who is just one of the loveliest voices on Earth. So, hope you enjoyed the episode. Make sure you check out Season 3, which is now available on Hulu. Disney's Solar Opposites. Here we go. Mike, you've been on the show before, so you don't get this question. This is just for you, Josh.
Nice.
Now, Mike knows I'm a pretty hard-hitting journalist. I always like to start off with like a real strong right hook, and I hope you're ready for it. What's your favorite sandwich?
Oh! My favorite sandwich is a Reuben. Mm-hmm. I love a Reuben sandwich, but if I ate one of those now, I'd be on the couch for like 2 hours.
Oh, absolutely.
But I love a Reuben.
You gotta chew the Reuben.
With pastrami, not corned beef. It's very important that it's pastrami and not corned beef.
Yeah, I'm a big
fan.
And
then second only to, I also love a great BLT.
Dude, the BLT is the king of sandwiches.
But it has to be on lightly toasted sourdough bread.
Okay.
Oh, you're fancy.
You and I never even knew about until I moved to LA, the torta. That's a whole...
Oh, well, yeah, I grew up. The torta is great. The
torta is great.
But I would say BLT and Reuben are my two. But by the way, I am not against... When my wife is out or my kids are out, I will make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and be really happy.
I do like to feel super diabetic. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich after 10 p.m. will put you in the grave, I feel like. Also, I just want to throw out that PB&J, BLT, and Reuben would be three great bouncer names if you had like guards. You'd be like, Reuben, BLT, get in here. Yeah. I feel like it would work.
They're superb names. Now, Solar Opposites Season 3 is coming. Get someone get a towel. For you, what sets Solar Opposites apart from other adult animated shows on television currently? Or streaming services, sorry. It's not on TV.
I think the main thing that sets it apart is that it's better than all the other ones. It's funnier.
Hard agree.
It's got more shows inside of it. Every other show only has one show. We have 3 shows in our show, which is like, the turducken of television shows. How many more different birds can we fit in this turkey? The answer is we don't know, but we're going to find out. It's also Solar Opposites is a show that feels like we got away with murder to be able to make it, because it's like saying, hey, we want to make a show for people that are nerds about TV and movies, but that isn't on the pulse of the newest stuff. It's like on the pulse of 1997's most popular stuff and around there. So like, there's something almost magically personal about it in like a nerdy way. It's a very nerdy, personal show. And then, because there's no rules, we get to slip in some subversive stuff, like everything from jokes that just couldn't fly not on streaming to heavily serialized drama elements and like a gay couple that just never even has to talk about it because they sleep together and they love each other and their relationship is growing, but the show isn't even about that. It's about them turning people into wine and weird crap, like it's just like Josh can tell you, like every day in the writer's room and working with the artists, like we're having a blast. The show is hard to make because there's like so much stuff going on in it. Like the artists especially like do an amazing job making 3 shows when they were only hired to do 1, but everybody's having a blast. We're always chasing what is something that makes, like, I love making Josh do this in the writer's room where I'll pitch something and he'll go dead silent and lean back and cross his arms and laugh while he's shaking his head and go, all right. Like, because it's so stupid.
It is. It's a joy. I mean, one of the things that Mike and Justin said very early on was we want to do a show where, especially for the family episodes, where you start with a very sitcom-y premise, right? They find out their neighbor's got a man cave. They need to have a man cave. And how can we twist that in the most insane way, right? This season, I don't know how much you've seen, but they're going to go on family vacation to just a little mountain lake, which is just even a dumb name to begin with. And then that becomes a Wicker Man / Truman Show episode. You know, they start from Jessie just wants to hang out more with her brother, right? Who gets dumped. And all of a sudden it becomes a classic high school trophy story, right? Where they're betting on high school sports, where all of a sudden Scholastic is the bad guy and they get stabbed by a Where's Waldo. And so I think that like, that's to me what sets it apart. And then also just the drama of The Wall and now Silvercups. Like I've worked on a lot. I've just have never seen that before. The tonal shifts that we're able to do and get away with. To me, it just makes the show so much fun to do.
It's also really rewatchable because it's on its surface so easy to understand. But when you rewatch it, you'll catch something every time that you didn't. And narratively, it's hard to remember what happens in any one episode because the episodes change every 5 minutes. So, you know, the emotional stories are still going, but like, it's weird to be like, oh, this episode will start with Korvo being jealous that Terry makes, you know, hot sauce as a hobby. And it ends with Korvo turning the entire continent into a giant train set that's slightly bigger than the real trains that were already there. Like it's mirthfully unpredictable.
And so I have seen season 3. I'm actually on my second rewatch. And I've told Mike this. I've watched the show probably 10 times. Like, it's my comfort. It's like I watch the show constantly. It drives my girlfriend up a wall.
No, good. Yep, we like that.
With that, is that something that ever is kept in mind? Because you're on a streaming service. Everything drops at once. Is rewatchability something that you kind of keep in mind when you're writing, or you're just getting as much in as you can?
It's both. I mean, this is also what I'm always saying on Lower Decks as well, is that we're dropping it binge. And when you have Hulu or Disney Plus Star Abroad or whatever, you're able to watch it in order as many times as you want, which is something that's a luxury, and all at once, by the way. You know what I mean? And all the other episodes from the other seasons if you want, which is a luxury that Josh and I have never encountered before in writing shows that air on what they call linear or on regular TV. And so, yeah, when we're doing it, it's like the rewatchability is the point, is you want to make it, every episode should feel like a weird, funny, emotionally driven thing that's unexpected, but that also survives being rewatched over and over, or put in the background, or just like is an experience that you can have more than once, you know? Like, it's not like blowing up a bomb and then nothing's there. Like, you can go back and be like, oh, I didn't catch that little thing in the background or what that person was saying. Or my favorite, oh, I didn't catch that they seeded a thing that was going to happen next season or 8 episodes later or whatever. They didn't have to do that. These guys are weirdly into this stuff. Like, that's the feeling of Solar that gets me, that I like, that it all lives on streaming. Plus, we get to say fuck a lot, which is pretty tight.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. And the seeding things is such an interesting concept. Now, with season 3, were there any ways you wanted to push the show further conceptually? Like, was there more shows that you wanted to put in the show?
No, we wanted to do it worse and less funny than previous seasons until it eventually just becomes a cooking instructional show with no characters. No, I mean, Josh can tell you, like, you know.
Yeah, the moment they said to us, hey, can you do 3 or 4 more episodes? Because we went from 8 and 8 to 12 or 11 plus a special. For Mike and I, that was like, yeah, that means we can even shove in a whole new spin-off show. And no, but I think we really wanted to, like, we did have some big conceptual things that we wanted to do this season. Mike had been talking about doing the 99 Ships episode for a while, right? We have this, you know, we have this, and our opening sequence that plays before every episode. What if we build that into an entire show, and it gives us a chance to do all this backstory on Schlorp and the Schlorpians that we never knew, right? Like, that was one thing that we could do. The Silvercups was another thing, adding another show within the show to our show. I think that was really, once we got the extra episodes, we knew that we could push it both on the Solar side and on the other side. And so for us, that was fun.
And on top of that, we wanted the Solars to be more of a family than ever before. We wanted to grow Korvo and Terry's relationship. I think like, subversively, we were like, look, they're going to be a gay couple. We're just never going to say it. Season 1, right? And then as the series is going, it's becoming more free to be able to be like, yeah, they love each other. And like someday they'll get married. You know what I mean? Like they're alien, but they also are allowed to be something that we don't get to see on TV without a lot of fanfare, which is like, feels great to have it be in an animated show. Sorry, I just cracked my knuckles in your freaking podcast. My bad. But it's audio, McMahon. Come on, let's chill out.
It's fine.
And then like, honestly too, like there's things we haven't even triggered yet that we've layered in there, like the Wooden City. Like it's not the end of what you've seen. There aren't a lot of shows that get off on world building as much as we do. And it's like, we're world building the show. Now we're world building Schlorp and the backstory and the galaxy that they inhabit and what that kind of looks like and what offers there are out there. And it's like, we're playing with scale, right? So like, look, the people in the wall, there's a whole world in the wall. They're a jelly bean and a half tall, right? How many stories can we tell there? What happens when they go in the backyard? That kind of stuff. Then we have the world of the Solars. Then we have the world of the Silvercops, which scale-wise is light years away. And how could that end up affecting our characters? And it's going to eventually. And then you have 99 Ships, which takes it on a fully galactic scale. And we love world building that nobody's asking for. The show isn't asking for it. The audience isn't asking for it. We're doing it because I love making TV shows, and everybody on the show loves making TV shows. So even while we're making one, we're making new TV shows inside of it. And occasionally our supervising director, Anthony Chun, and our line producer will come up and go, hey, we're asking the artists to make an entire second show within the show. Are we going to be able to do this? And we're like, oh, yes, we will. I promise whatever they make, we're going to reuse moving forward. You know what I mean? Like it might feel like a whole new Silvercops world right now, but moving forward, we're going to reuse the Silvercops. You know what I mean? We're going to see more of that storyline and Glenn out in space. And so, and we've already written in our Seeing Animatics on season 4. So like we can confidently say all these stories continue in really fun ways.
I'm very excited. I'm so glad you get off on all that stuff because it makes for a really interesting world and universe. But sure, this one's more so for you, Mike, but not even for you. With your son, Sagan, voicing the Pupa, how does he feel about it? Like, does he go into the booth? How does that work?
He goes into the booth. We do multiple episodes at once. And when he starts to get squirmy because he doesn't want to go, hey, Korvo, for like the millionth time, I bring pockets full of candy that appear throughout it. So he's having fun. I think we can do the entire season in under 2 hours with him. And 30 minutes of that is me being like, all right, we've gotten every line. I just start having conversations with him and he starts just telling me about stuff and like games he's playing and stuff that's going on. And then we'll take sound bites from that and we'll build it into the episode because it sounds so honest and like Pupa-y when you take it out of context. I love my son. I love my family. I love working with my son. He has a blast doing it. The only funny thing is he's not allowed to watch the show because he's.
I was going to say because like
my 10-year-old watches the show, which I'm not proud of. But But I would just say about Sagan, there's some so wonderfully sweet and naive about it. Like when he has the Pupa screams, like it makes me laugh every time for some reason. And it's great to actually have a kid playing that role.
And I love Sagan to death. My whole world revolves around my kids. And I know that when he's older, he's going to see Solar and he'll probably be like, Dad, you're such an idiot. Like, in a loving way. But also it's this thing we share that means a lot to me. And he sounds so cute and he's so funny. And the character he plays is so sincere and removed from any of the fucking crazy shit. I mean, a little bit with that robot he has at the beginning of the season, but like, I'm really proud of it. And I would love him, when COVID settles down a little bit to be able to come to a convention and like get to see people watch the show and that he provides a little spark of joy to people. Now, my 4-year-old Harry doesn't realize he's not a voice in any of my shows yet. And I see that coming.
Yeah.
That's coming. So I got to create a new show that I'm able to cast Harry in, or I'm going to have a lot of explaining that I'm going to have to do.
Yikes. But again, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Josh, very nice to meet you.
Voice.
Nice to
Smoothest
meet you.
voice in Nerddom. I love it. Thank you,
Thank
Dan.
you.
We appreciate it, man.
Talk to you soon.
Yeah, baby. Later, Dan.
Hi.
I'm a pretty hard-hitting journalist. I don't know if you've heard about me at all, so I want to start off with a pretty heavy question, so I hope you're ready. What's your favorite sandwich?
I have a list of sandwiches too. I like Thanksgiving dinner sandwich. You put stuffing, gravy, sometimes mashed potatoes, not much, turkey, green olives, cranberry onto your roll or your gluten-free bread, whichever you got, and you and that's amazing. It's a whole dinner in one sandwich. It's so good. Sean?
Bologna with mustard.
Whoa. Minimalist.
Now, with it being the third season, does getting into character for you when you go to do your lines come easier now? Or is it still, you just have to take it one script at a time?
I'm still trying to find my character, and we're almost done with season 4. That's how I do it. I think by the grand finale of all the seasons, I'll have it down.
That's my character.
Oh, there I am. Nailed it.
Yeah, I just yell. I go like shut up, Jesse, or something like that, and that usually gets me into character right at the start of the session.
Yeah,
it's a good way to get into it. Are you recording in the booth solo, or do you ever do any work together?
Yeah, you can't sit and see somebody improv on for more than 5 hours tops. But Sean and I did do a couple together and I got in trouble by HR for making fun of Sean's Chicago accent.
Seriously?
No, I didn't. But yeah, well, yeah, well, I can't. It's okay because that's probably the only reason I got this job. There's probably a lot more qualified people, but they said that one sounds the most insane. Let's get her. Let's get her. I forgot what the question was.
So did I. Do you ever record together was the question.
Oh, yeah. Not anymore. We refuse.
Perfect. That's probably for the best. Sean and Mary, do you have a dynamic of siblings? Because everyone in this room is jiving completely well together, and you play siblings in the show for 3 seasons now. And if you're not recording together, do you find that dynamic just because you know one another?
I feel, because I'm a lot older than Sean, so I feel like I'm Sean's bad influence aunt. That's the dynamic. I feel like when I see you, Sean, that's the dynamic. And then, but it could easily translate to brother sister too, a lot older, maybe a stepsister from another marriage.
No, sister.
Okay, thank you, Sean. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we're more at each other on the show. Our characters are more at odds, but in real life, it's just it's a more, I guess, purely positive, sibling thing.
I hung out with Sean and his dad at the last Comic-Con, and I will say Sean's dad liked me better than Sean. So that made me feel...
Not true.
that made us feel more sibling-like. I feel it helped our characters.
What, with your characters having developed over the 3 seasons, have you approached them any differently now with characterization?
I try to talk quieter. I always say, hey guys, I always say, you might want some more emotional range in Jesse. And nope, they don't. They just like the yelling and swearing ones, but I give them a full range. I even give them a clean take. Yeah, faster, yeller, but it's a yeller. It's the dynamic. If it's the dynamic of the show, but in my dream of dreams, we have a whole episode where everybody talks like this, and nobody raises their voice.
The acoustic episode. So what, with this being season 3, what are you most excited for fans to see? Without spoilers.
Well, really just all the, like, there's just some really, like, as always, like the wild different kinds of episodes that are in store. It's kind of like when you click on an episode, you don't know what's going to happen. So just really for the fans to see the episodes that they had, I think season 3, like we have some new ones after, but season 3 was like, to that point, it's my favorite episodes. So I'm very excited just for them to see the episodes.
I feel like the wall and really we're going our own directions. We're going into spin-off mode almost. I feel like the wall's gonna leave us behind and start its own series. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you all so much. It's wonderful to hear your voices after watching the show so many times. So thanks for being here with me. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Daniel.
Sweet background.
Hey, thank
nice
you.
background.
Disney and Hulu.